Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine and today I will be reading tarot from the Navigators of the Mystic Sea Tarot deck by Julia Turk. I have just completed a review of this deck, so if you're interested in seeing the cards themselves in greater detail, I will put a link to that video in the description box below. So the spread that I'm going to use today is called The Web, but it is based on Julia's experience being a mariner. I also have such experience in the United States Navy. I was not an independent yacht captain like Julia was. But in order to understand where you are on a nautical chart as you are sailing, you have to do what you call taking a fix. And you have to get, for the best fix, you need to get at least 3 lines of position. And so you will, using your compass, and you will look out and take a bearing from the compass using the compass circle. What did we call it? Oh, it's been a hot minute. I can't think of it. But anyway, it would align your compass points with a point on the shore. You get a point on the shore there, you get a point on the shore there, you get a point on the shore there, and boom, you know where you are, or where you were at that very moment. Best thing is if you can get 3 people doing it at exactly the same time, you have a pretty good idea of where you are. And so that's what this is going to do. We're going to do a past, a present, a future line, but we're going to get an idea of right where we are right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to begin with the star card. I'm going to use this as a signature card because it jumped out at us, and I think this is actually a really great card to use in a navigational themed spread because yes, you can navigate by the stars as mariners have for many centuries. Now we have wonderful things like GPS, and we don't have to rely on sextants and star angles and knowing your altair from your deneb, but it can still be done. And we had in the back of the navigation space books and books of declination diagrams of where a star should be on a given day at a given time. And so by knowing where the stars are, you know where you are. And so we're going to begin with the star because that's you. You're the star. Okay. Counting the deck. Let us begin. We'll start with the past. And the past is death, also known as transformation in this card. So, looking at a point of transformation, 4 of Wands, delight, 6 of Cups, felicity, and the 3 of Swords, desolation. All right, so let's change points of view here. And here we have our past laid out behind us. Death, 4 of Wands, 6 of Cups, 3 of Swords. So going from a position of the 3 of Swords, of desolation, and considering that this is swords, we're talking about mental desolation, mental distress, something that has been very upsetting in the mental realm. You know, people would look at your life and be like, what does this person have to be bothered with? They look fine, but it's what's inside that counts on the 3 of Swords. And what's going on inside is that there is a sense of loss. What was lost? So we have 6 of Cups, felicity. So in many interpretations, we have a sense of innocence, a sense of youthfulness, an ease, things going very well. 6s in the Kabbalistic tree of life, if you look, this is the 6 right here in the middle. So if you think about being right in the middle of everything, of having it all going for you, maybe that was something that was lost. Or maybe that was the illusion. It looked like everything was going for you, but on the inside, that's not how it was going. That's not how you felt. We move into delight with the 4 of Wands, and that is usually a gathering of friends and family, of people you are close to, whether it's your blood family, your chosen family. And there's even like a little unicorn here in the distance. See that? That's a unicorn, which is very amusing to me. because it gives this sense of almost something fantastical, something that is light and beautiful and energizing. And so there's a certain sense of freshness, but this wasn't what was going on in your head. What was going on in your head, your emotions, there seemed to be something very easy about that. In your desires, in your inspirations, there was something, but it wasn't matching up with what was going on in your head. And so something had to change, and death became not a physical death, not a literal death, but the transformation. Something had to end. Something had to end. I wonder if the Eight of Cups will jump in on our reading here today. So we'll come in here with the present. How has this led to the present? The present, Two of Cups, harmony. So we have the harmony of working together, of positive relationships, good feelings. Good feelings usually in particular about something specific, not just like a generic good feeling like over here in the Six of Cups, but something that's very harmonious, something very solid in your imagination. So just organize that a little bit more for the camera. Following that, you had fortune, or the wheel of fortune. Things go up and down. There is a circus going on in this card. If you look very closely, we've got a guy juggling on a unicycle. We've got acrobats. We've got birds. We've got rainbows. We've got beasts. We've got a ringmaster. We've got there's all kinds of stuff going on in this card. And that's kind of the way fortune is. There's so much going on. It's bound to change. It has to stop at some point. All right. Fortune, Nine of Cups. Satiety. So this person kind of looks like they've had all they can have and they can't get no more. They stand all they can stand. Satiety. So one often thinks of satiety as being part of satisfaction, okay, but sometimes satiety can mean of just have had enough, and it could be of something good or bad, but this person has just had enough and they're all kind of passed out. Maybe they drank everything in those cups, or maybe they didn't. Maybe it was just the party of everybody, and now the party's over and he's done. And finally, gratification in the moon. So the moon has a sort of a sense of mystery to it. And in this case, it's a full moon. So you think of the fullness, as much light as you're going to get out of it is what you're getting. You're going to get all that you can get out of this experience. And you know that because the star here is talking about revelation. It's talking about guidance, that guiding light. What is revealed to you? Yep. And that's what's going on right now. So let's look to the future. Recuperation. All right, so all of this has been very taxing. I mean, I'm just looking at this guy right here in the center. He's just done. He's just out of it. Sun, yep. Tower, ooh, and Seven of Swords, ambivalence. Okay. So, as you're moving through this period of time, and you're going through this transformation, you're seeking harmony and you're recovering. So, this could mean that this particular track was not the harmony you were seeking. Forming a new relationship, things have their ups and downs, and there's a little bit of mystery to it. You're happy for the experience, but you realize that there's still other things out there that need to be done, that are out there for you. Recuperation, organization with the sun, the expansion, things coming into alignment. So there's a sense of kind of pulling things back together. You're reining this in. And figuring out the best direction to send your energy, to send your ideas and your passions, and where to go with it. So we have Tower and then Seven of Swords. There's an impetus to reorganize because this is falling apart. These things need to be brought under control, under your control. A sense of self-control. And ambivalence here. Actually, I never get ambivalence even with this particular version of the card. Because what's really compelling about this is this little thief is coming in to get the swords. But if you look, there's a mirror on the wall and there's another person in the room. Because the thief can see himself, but he also sees this, almost looks like a monk standing in the corner, a mystery figure in the corner. I don't think he's ambivalent to that. I think he's going to try to get what he can and move on. And maybe that's where you need to be. Get what you can and move on. Because, yeah, we have this tumultuous scene in the tower of things just burning down. And maybe part of your organizational system, your method to recuperate and get this stuff back on track is you've got to burn some stuff down. You got to take it apart, you got to dismantle it, and then, in the process of organizing, you got to figure out what's important. You got to figure out what's important. Maybe there's things that you've been ambivalent towards that were more important than you gave them credit for, and it's time to kind of get a fresh look at those things. Look at it from a different perspective, like this guy looking in the mirror and seeing himself, but also somebody standing in the corner. So, in this sense, the path is not super clear. I'm not getting a lot of cups out of this reading. We do have some here. So there's an emotional satiety. In the past, so where are the feelings? Yeah. Yeah, the feelings on this, they've gone from a sense of joy and ease to forming relationships to too much of a good thing. Yeah, maybe there was a sense of desolation, and then wanting to maybe take a relationship to a different level. And it worked out, but then it turned out to be too much. And then you have to figure out what is it that you really, really need to work on in this relationship. Mentally, we've got 3 of Swords, 4 of Swords, 7 of Swords. So in the mental space, there's a sense of trying to figure out what's important and what to do with this logical mental space that you're in. What are you doing with your head space? What's going on through your mind? I'm gonna look up ambivalence here. Ambivalence as concept kind of concerns me, and I want to see what Julia says about ambivalence. So, 7 of Swords. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Julia's poem is, failing to make decisions does not pay, for obvious excuses are made clear. The mirror's presence blocks facile escape, for vacillating actions interfere. I'm sorry, words are hard. Grasp your sword firmly, only can you then hope that the confidence it truly brings shows the others they can trust you and make plans, knowing they will at last be given wings. The intelligence of swords can turn by weakness of character into deceit and treachery. Have the courage to admit what you are doing. So this is a little bit what Julia's talking about, is about gaining trust. So ambivalence is definitely not the best course of action. And maybe you've been trying some things out, but maybe it's time to settle on a course of action, settle on an idea, commit to something. Maybe this commitment wasn't what you thought it was going to be, and you either have to organize it to be what you want it to be, or burn it down and try again. But it begins with you. It begins with the direction that you want to take. So, looking at these three cards together, there's a sense of desolation and sadness here. The desire for a new direction, there's the calling of a new direction, the potential of a new direction, but you have to decide to take that new direction. You have to take that action, make that decision, and move the direction that you want to go. So, yes. A lot of major arcana in this. We have Death, Wheel of Fortune, Moon, Star, Sun. Yeah, there's a certain need to know what you want in order to find that sense of gratification and satisfaction. Okay, yeah, this has been a very puzzling and very interesting reading. Very interesting reading indeed. What have you had enough of? Why has it been enough? And what can you do about it? And these answers are within. You find the answers inside yourself because you know what you want, even sometimes if you're afraid to admit it. And then you have to figure out why you're afraid to admit it and what that really means to you. Okay. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I hope it has been a benefit to you. If nothing else, you got to see the cards of the Navigators of the Mystic Sea Tarot, which is, like I said, interesting, surreal, fascinating. And yeah, I hope this brings you some agency. I don't know if I would get a lot of peace out of this, but it does certainly mean that you get to choose your own adventure. You get to choose what you think is important and what to do about it. And it's time to do that. You've tried some things, it hasn't worked. What's important? What is really important to you? Okay? Best wishes. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.